If you live alone after 50, your home isn't just where you sleep. It's your sanctuary. It's where you recover. It's where you have coffee in peace. And when you're solo, your home matters even more because you're the one carrying the whole emotional load of your life. But here's the tension I think a lot of us feel in retirement. We want our home to be beautiful, and we also want our money to feel safe. And sometimes these two things feel like they're fighting each other. Hi, I'm Michelle, and on my channel we talk about creating a peaceful, confident life after 50, especially if you're living alone, traveling solo, or navigating retirement. My apartment is mostly thrifted or purchased secondhand off Facebook Marketplace. And what I love about that is it changes the entire energy of decorating. Instead of buying things quickly just to fill a space, I'm curating. I'm choosing, I'm waiting for the right pieces, and that curation over consumption mindset is one of the simplest ways to protect your nest egg while still creating a home that feels sophisticated and intentional. Because thrifting isn't about being cheap, it's about being strategic. It's about getting higher quality, more character, and more longevity for less. And in retirement, especially if you're living solo, that matters. Not because we're deprived, but because we're being wise. We're trying to make decisions that feel financially grounded. Because those decisions don't just protect our nest egg, they protect our peace. Money stress is sneaky. It doesn't always show up as panic. Sometimes it's just this low-grade background anxiety that you can't quite shut off. And if you're someone who has ever bought something new and then felt that weird emotional hangover after, like you couldn't even enjoy it because you were thinking about what you spent, thrifting can remove a lot of that. You can still have something beautiful. It just doesn't have to come with regret. And let's talk quality, because this is the part that's really converted me. The quality you can find secondhand is often better than what you can buy new today. Thrift stores and Facebook Marketplace can be gold mines for what I call asset pieces. Pieces made with real craftsmanship and real materials. Solid wood furniture instead of particle board, durable metals like iron, and older pieces made from oak or mahogany that can handle decades of use and still look good. And in retirement, that matters because you don't want to keep replacing fast furniture. You don't want things that wobble after a year. You want things that feel stable because stability is a form of peace too. There's something comforting about owning pieces that feel substantial, not just physically, but emotionally. When you buy something well-made secondhand, it feels like you're investing in stability instead of buying into a trend. And trends are expensive. Trends create constant dissatisfaction because the goalpost keeps moving. But a well-crafted dresser, a classic lamp, a great mirror, and a sturdy side table, those things don't expire. They become part of your life. And a home that's built around pieces like that feels calmer. It feels less like a showroom and more like a place that holds you. And then there's the financial side, which I think we should just say plainly. Shopping secondhand can save you a meaningful amount of money. That's breathing room. That's money that stays in your future instead of being tied up in trendy items that won't matter to you in 5 years. And I don't care what anyone says, breathing room is luxury. Because it's hard to relax in a space that is quietly reminding you that you overspent. It's hard to feel calm in a home that represents regret. But it's very easy to feel calm in a home that represents resourcefulness and intention. And there's a psychological piece to thrifting that I didn't expect, but it's real. Thrifting becomes this low-cost hobby, and in retirement, having hobbies that are engaging but not expensive is a big deal. There's a real boost that comes from finding a hidden gem, something you know is special and priced like it's ordinary. Yes, it's a little dopamine hit, but it's also confidence. It makes you feel capable, like you have taste, and like you can create beauty without overspending. And it's not just the score that feels good, it's the process. Thrifting naturally slows you down, and that's another quiet gift in retirement. It's not instant, it's not one click. It asks you to browse and to notice and to be present. And if you spent decades living on deadlines, that slower pace can feel surprisingly calming. It turns decorating into something mindful instead of frantic. It also teaches patience again, because so much of adult life is urgency. Hurry up, decide, buy it, move on, what's next? Thrifting teaches you that you don't need to rush to have something beautiful. You can wait for the right piece, and you can leave empty space, and you can walk away. And that's not just a decor skill, that's a midlife and retirement skill. Because once you practice that kind of restraint in your home, it spills over into everything. You stop needing to prove yourself with purchases. You stop filling emotional gaps with stuff, and you start trusting your timing. Now, I know a lot of women want their home to feel elevated, like a sanctuary, like it has a point of view, like it's not random. And here's something I've learned. Sophistication doesn't come from price tags. It comes from restraint. It comes from editing, and it comes from choosing fewer pieces that are better. That's why thrifting can actually make your home look more expensive, not less. When you shop secondhand, you're less likely to impulse buy matching sets and trendy decor you'll tire of quickly. You're more likely to find one really good piece and build around it. You're more likely to mix textures and eras in a way that feels layered. And layered is what reads as high-end. A collected home has depth. A cookie-cutter home has sameness. And once you start building a collected home, you realize that you're not just decorating, you're expressing yourself. This is where curation over consumption becomes more than just a slogan. It becomes a filter. Instead of asking, do I like this? You start asking, does this belong in my life? Does it fit my style? And does it make my space feel better? And that one small shift is how you avoid clutter, because clutter is usually what happens when we bring home things that are cute but not truly right. And I also think this is especially healing for women over 50, because many of us spent decades shaping everyone else's environment, everyone else's comfort, and everyone else's routine. So there's something deeply satisfying about having a home that feels shaped by you, not by trends, and not what's supposed to be on your coffee table, and not what the internet is telling you your house should look like. Thrifting can also align with our values. Buying secondhand is stewardship. It keeps usable items out of landfills. It reduces the demand for brand new resources and heavy manufacturing, and many thrift shops support local charities or community programs, which means your decor budget can actually do some good beyond your own home. And that's one of the reasons it feels aligned with retirement. Retirement is when you start paying attention to what you're supporting, where your money goes, and what kind of world you want to participate in. Thrifting is a quiet way of living your values, and it's also a reminder that new isn't automatically better. Sometimes already made, already loved, still beautiful is the most sensible thing in the world. So if you're in retirement, or even if you're in a season where you're trying to be more intentional and you want a home that feels elevated without draining your savings, I want you to consider this approach. Let your home come together slowly. Treat it like a collection, not a checklist. Focus on fewer, better pieces. And remember, the goal isn't to fill a space as fast as possible. The goal is to create a sanctuary you're proud to live in, while keeping your future protected. And I'd love to know in the comments, are you a thrift store person, a Facebook Marketplace person, or I want to be, but I don't know where to start? Thank you so much for watching.